Hi, my name is Mariam Hejazi with Marvelous in Houston, brokered by Texas Boutique Realty, and today we are going on a driving tour through Camp Logan. Camp Logan is one of my top 5 favorite neighborhoods in all of Houston. Not only is it central to many major thoroughfares through Houston, it is walking distance to my favorite location in all of Houston, Memorial Park. Let's take a look. Houston is so big, so let's get our bearings. The big loop is Beltway 8, then we're here in 610, we're moving over, we're zooming in. So this big green blob over here is Memorial Park, and here we are, the roundabout. We'll start there. This little teardrop that we're zooming into, this is Camp Logan, and you'll see how central it is to all of the Houston major thoroughfares. Memorial Park is really stunning. That's this big green blob over here again. There's a 3-mile walking loop that you see right here. And then over here is the brand new Clay Family Eastern Glades. We'll be entering Camp Logan from the Washington Avenue Westcott roundabout. There are very few roundabouts in Houston, and the only ones that readily come to mind are this one and the large roundabout at the Museum of Natural Science and the Museum of Fine Arts. The mid-rise apartment on the left-hand side is called the Alexan at Memorial. It's pretty new within the last 2.5 years. It ranges in price from $1,700 to about $3,600 a month. Here we are entering via Taggart Street. I have always explained Camp Logan as the secret garden of Houston. There always seems to be overly green and lush trees. They have a couple small little micro parks within this very small and tight-knit community that give it this private, secluded feeling, but you're so close to I-10, 610, Washington Avenue, Memorial Drive, Allen Parkway, downtown. For reference, from this location, an Uber ride to downtown will only be 7 to 11 minutes. All of the intersections within Camp Logan have stop signs, so there will be no speeding through this neighborhood. There are also several roads with speed bumps. And I drove through on trash day, and even with it being trash day and all these trash cans out on the street, there was plenty of room to drive. And most neighborhoods, it's pretty ugly with all the trash cans. But here in Camp Logan, it's still stunningly beautiful, even on trash day. The year built range here is anywhere from the early 1980s all the way up till today's new construction, with a few houses every so often being built. This new construction really starts at about 1.2 million. There are just a few older homes that were built in the 1930s and the 1940s, but just a few. The price range for the older homes is usually going to be below 800, and anything that's new construction, so I'd say probably built after 2005, that usually starts at about 1.2 million. The rental price range here is $4,000 to about $7,000 plus, depending on the age and quality of the house. Now, I filmed and recorded this video in May of 2025, and for this video, I've pulled the last 6 months of sold data for single-family homes and townhomes. There were 12 solds in the last 6 months, and this price range is $515,000 all the way up to almost $1.7 million. On our left is Cannon Creek, one of my absolute favorite bars in Houston, and I'm swinging us around this part of the neighborhood because I want to show you how easy it is to access and move within Camp Logan. So you can go either way on this street, but Westcott directly to the left is only one way, and it goes south to that Washington roundabout that we started the video at. So we're going to turn back into the neighborhood, and it plops you right back out into this cute little green space area. And as I referenced a few moments ago, this is one of the 1930s, 1940s houses I was referencing. There are very few of these. So that two-way access road plops us right back out into the middle of Camp Logan. Very easy access in and out. You can hop on Washington or take Westcott right down to Memorial Drive, which ultimately will take you downtown. And as of today, we currently have 8 active homes on the market, and they range in price from $799,000 to $1.7 million. And there are currently 6 homes under contract in the $530,000 to $2.2 million range. I would like to mention that several of the houses that have recently sold in 0 to 7 days, with one of the records selling in excess of $20,000 over list price. So that tells you that there is quite a bit of demand for this beautiful little secret garden pocket of Houston. Now, all of these houses that I'm referencing, these active, pending, and sold records, we're talking about 27 houses total. So this is single family and townhomes included. So in the last 6 months, we're looking at 27 sale records. And out of this 27, only 4 are in the $500,000 range. The remainder are all above $650,000, with most of them being above $800,000. In addition to everything else that Camp Logan offers, I think it's very important to note that the tax rate in Camp Logan is actually lower than the average Harris County tax rate. The average Harris County tax rate is 2.53. Here it's 2.09. So we're looking at 0.4 lower than the rest of Harris County, which does make a big difference on your property taxes. And yes, you did hear that correctly, property taxes. If you are moving from outside of Texas, you need to know that we do have property taxes. Even if you buy your house in cash, you do owe a property tax to the county every year. How much you're paying in taxes is directly calculated off of the county appraised value, and that percentage that I referenced is how your tax is calculated. Now, if you have been wondering this entire time, why is this place called Camp Logan? This was actually a training camp for World War I. The U.S. government was gifted this land by the Hogg family, which is a very long-standing Houston family. They trained troops here in 1917, and most of the troops that trained went off to fight in France in World War I. There is quite a bit of history surrounding Camp Logan. If you would like to know more, I've included a link in the description. This is a brief look at one of the 2 schools that bookends Camp Logan. This is St. Teresa's Catholic School. And on the other side, on the south side of Camp Logan, we have Memorial Elementary School. So if you move to Camp Logan, it's very quiet, very secluded, but you will have glorious school traffic during the school year. Now, I love all of the streets in Camp Logan, but Haskell Street is absolutely one of the crown jewels of this little neighborhood. Can you imagine living in the heart of one of the top 5 largest cities in America? And this is your view out of your front door or from your front balcony while you're drinking coffee in the morning or you're having a cocktail in the afternoon. I mean, it really doesn't get better than this. If you love nature and you love the parks, this really has to be your community. Now, every so often, a house on Haskell will come on the market. It's not often, and it usually sells in less than 2 weeks, if not faster. Now, I am taking us right back out to the edge of this neighborhood, back to that 2-way street that runs parallel to the 1-way street, which is Westcott. I want to show you how easy it is to access the outside of your neighborhood. You can just come out right here, 1 or 2 blocks from your house. And right there, that gray building, that is a pretty darn new Starbucks. I love that Starbucks. I do stop there a couple times a week. Right here on our left side, I'm going to show you some beautiful red brick houses. They're older, but they usually trade in the high fours or $500,000 range, and they are a great entry level into Camp Logan if you would like to keep the budget low. Now I'm going to turn on to Westcott, which again is a one-way street. It does pop us out back to that roundabout, and it's a school zone, so there's usually a crossing guard here. So just one little block, and then I can drop us right back into the neighborhood. I know I have said this many times on this video, but I really can never get over the trees in Camp Logan and all around Memorial Park. There are a couple other neighborhoods that I'll eventually highlight for you that have equally as grand and majestic oak trees. We are popping back out of the neighborhood onto this two-way street that allows us to access the one-way street that is Westcott, because I want to show you one of the other reasons why Camp Logan is one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Houston, because it's next door to one of my absolute favorite bars in Houston, which is Canyon Creek. It's really started to have been a neighborhood bar, and it has that neighborhood bar feel. You can bring the family here if you want. On a big game day, Astros or Texans or a big college ball game, it's actually difficult to find a seat here. I know there's a lot of seating, but on a big game day, it is absolutely packed. The menu is great. They have the best chicken fajita nachos in all of Houston. Highly recommend. The AC is cold. The beer is cold. It's usually always easy to grab a beer at the bar. And if you live in the neighborhood, you're usually always going to see someone you know, which, depending on your personality, is a positive or a negative. But sitting on this patio is a great people watching spot. It's a great meeting spot. It's very central to a lot of different neighborhoods in Houston. I've always loved this mural that they have. It's such a great place to hang out. I highly recommend. So if you're moving to Houston, this is a great place to start getting to know your new city. On the right, we are passing those great red brick houses that I pointed out earlier. I've always loved these houses, although they are on the busier side of Camp Logan as they face west. We are now headed out of the neighborhood, out of Camp Logan, onto Westcott, which this will pop us out to that roundabout that we actually began our tour at. I'd like to show you some other commercial that makes day-to-day life a little easier. So we're going to go through the roundabout. We're going to wait for these people at the crosswalk, and we're going to take Westcott all the way down to where it dumps us out at Memorial Drive. As we head south on Westcott, you'll notice on the right-hand side of the street there are much larger houses. This is one of the borders to a larger community called Crestwood, and there are way bigger houses there that we will explore on another day in another video. That crosswalk that we just passed is brand new, and it allows the foot traffic from Rice Military to make it through Crestwood and over to Memorial Park, because there's a very easy pedestrian entrance into the Clay family Eastern Glades. So we are coming up on an intersection of Westcott and Memorial Drive, and I think this intersection is very interesting, and you'll see that all 3 lanes here are all turn left lanes. This one that I'm in right now is the only one that you can make a right in, and it's It can just be a little overwhelming if you've never gone through that intersection before, because all 3 lanes are left turn lanes. Up here, where one of our final destinations are, is a little strip center with a Starbucks, a donut place, a Smoothie King, and a UPS store. So if you have to ship frequently, the UPS store is right there. You have this additional Starbucks, so if you head into downtown or maybe Greenway Plaza for your work commute, this is a way easier Starbucks to stop at when you're on your way. So you can pick up donuts or kolaches at the Kolache Factory. There's a Smoothie King, a UPS store. The staff is awesome at this particular UPS store, and I know that from experience. As a person that has lived in this neighborhood for over 5 years, I really appreciate that there is a brick and mortar Chase and Wells Fargo here. There's a couple dry cleaners, there's 2 gas stations, there's a breakfast taco place. I prefer this Valero because it's way less expensive than the Shell across the street. And I always appreciate this local neighborhood specs because you don't have to leave the neighborhood for any of this if you live in Rice Military, Camp Logan, or Crestwood. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This will conclude our driving tour of Camp Logan, and make sure to come back for our next destination very soon. If you're trying to get to know the Houston area, I hope this helped. There are many great locations throughout the loop, but Camp Logan has a special place in my heart. If you found this video because you're researching Houston before you make a big move, please reach out. I live and breathe everything Houston, and I would be honored at a chance to earn your business. My name's Mariam Hejazi. I've been helping people buy and sell residential real estate for over 12 years, and I have been loving Houston since 1987. See you on the next one.